Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into this one. Yep, Michigan has appealed, which is just ridiculous. They've appealed a ruling that went all in their favor. They should have gotten the hammer. Instead, they got the Sherrone, and they're appealing it. And also in this video, I'm going to talk about the debate I had last night with Jackpot, debating whether or not South Carolina had our signs and whether or not they were sent by Connor Stallions. There's a ton of circumstantial evidence. A couple of important points I'm going to show about that as well. But as you know, I never bury the lead. Yeah, Michigan's going to appeal the NCAA ruling for their sign stealing where they were caught red-handed.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Even McEnroe knows. Anyway, let's get into this. USA Today says hours after the NCAA gift-wrapped and handed a decision to Michigan football with numerous penalties in its role in sign-stealing scandal led by Connor, they said, "We will appeal this decision to ensure a fair result, and we can consider all other options." The NCAA Committee on Infractions handed numerous financial penalties. We know about that. And they also said, "We appreciate the work of the Committee on Infractions." You damn well oughta. But respectfully, in a number of instances, the decision makes fundamental errors in interpreting NCAA bylaws, and it includes a number of conclusions that are directly contrary to the evidence or lack of evidence in the record. That's because the evidence is in the bottom of a pond. Your boy Connor threw it all in the pond. The hard drives, the cell phone, and then he told one of his interns, "Don't worry about it, it's not a court of law, you can lie your ass off." Ward Manuel said, "It's never our intent to be in a position where we are accused of any rules violations." You gotta... I fully support Coach Sherrone Moore, the repeat offender, our student athletes and staff as they prepare for the season ahead. And Coach Moore's continued commitment to ensuring his program operates in compliance while he deletes texts. I acknowledge the Committee on Infractions' decision to not penalize our current student athletes just because we cheated our butts off. I'm adding a few words in there, as you can imagine. It's not a direct quote. A postseason ban should never have been in consideration. You know why it was in consideration? Because you didn't cooperate. You cheated like crazy, and then a lot of the evidence was destroyed. Your head coach deleted texts that were from Connor, and the only reason they even got them was because you can't just delete text. They were able to take a forensic person to go in and get them out. So it's absurd. Anyway, I'm going to let you hear what many others have thought about this decision. As you can imagine, it's not a very popular decision outside of Michigan. An intrinsic clip this is of the Monty Show talking about this decision.
All this to say, Michigan has admitted that this operation took place. They did so when they fired Connor Stallions pretty much on the spot. They are now again admitting that there were illegalities around the sign-stealing allegations. And what we know now is Michigan cheated their way to a national championship. It's awfully difficult to deny that, to spin that, to change that narrative. But let's make something very clear. They're the national champions of that season, and that's not going to change. But what now has changed is it seems like the tenor and the tone coming from Ann Arbor, trying to deny any wrongdoing. We had no idea. Well, apparently you did because you deleted a bunch of text messages, and now you're taking a 2-game rip for this. Jake, I think there is very little way to spin this if you are Michigan. You're admitting that your program and 2 of your head coaches broke the rules, and they did so flagrantly.
I couldn't agree with that more. I really couldn't. I mean, that's just spot on. Look, that championship is so tainted, I will never respect it, ever. I'll just go ahead and tell you that. And before you say, "Oh, well, you're probably this," no, I'm never this way. I don't have any problem with Ohio State's title last year. I have no problem with the 6. Well, I have problems with the 6 that Alabama won, but I'm not going to sit here and deny that they won them, and I'm not going to say they did it illegally. Georgia won 2, got no problem with that. LSU, you don't hear me complain about that. I'll never respect Michigan's. Never. It's as tainted as it can possibly be. But here's what I can tell you. The Michigan folks are celebrating this to no end, and that fine means nothing to them. I already showed you where the owner of Oracle, who has $290 billion and gives to their champion circle of life, whatever the crap it is, to their NIL up there in Michigan, he'll handle that fine, no problem. That's nothing to him. I showed you where it was 0.00006% of his net worth. But speaking of a wealthy Michigan guy who doesn't give a crap about this fine, here's Dave Portnoy.
So the big bad NCAA, that organization on the way out, corrupt, loses every lawsuit ever against them, NIL, can't control nothing. They just fined Michigan $20 million. Like, we give a about $20 million. $20 million is ashtray money, bro, for us. That's like what, 1/4 Bryce Underwood? We don't care about $20 million. Oh, Connor Stallions, U.S. Marine, by the way. He can't coach for 8 years for what? Being great at decoding signals and serving his country? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Ohio State, cry. Little brother, cry. All you other schools, cry. It's going to be student body left, student body right. We got a quarterback, the forward pass is back in our offense, and we're going to mash you. Just like we've mashed Ohio State for the past 100 years. Haven't beat us since the days of COVID. Let them cry, let them whine, let them take that $20 million to a Michigan man. Ashtray money, bro. Ashtray money. We're going to see you Thanksgiving Day weekend. We're going to beat the piss out of you, and no $20 million is going to change that $20 million. Like we give up. About $20 million. We own the Big Ten, and we're coming for you. See you on Big Noon Kickoff. I'm going to be there, Columbus. Mwah.
Yeah, I probably should have warned you about that one. Hey, here's the thing. People have their opinion. That's the one thing. I don't get mad at somebody having an opinion. I really don't. And a lot of times it doesn't agree with mine, but hey, we live in America. This is not Russia.
Danny, this isn't Russia. Is this Russia? This isn't Russia, is it?
Nah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, listen to Danny Noonan. He knows. If Danny knows, you should know. This is not Russia. You're allowed to have an opinion. And speaking of opinion, Buckeye Scoop had something to say about this. Needless to say, they were ticked off at this absurd decision, and I'll let you listen to what they had to say last night about it.
I just want to say, this is a technical point, right? Because they basically got off on the postseason ban because they said they didn't want to punish current, future players. So here's something from one of my NCAA sources. They were like, what's the effing point of having bans at all? If they didn't want bans, then when they issued the Constitution amended, then they should have taken those out altogether as a penalty. So when they had the new bylaws for the updated year, they addressed the differences between current players and not punishing them, but keeping postseason bans in. So when I was looking at this, for being a postseason ban, I understood the current players, they lean towards not doing that, but they have it in their constitution that's updated that's for exemplary cooperation. If you don't do that, you're getting a postseason ban.
Let me point something out about that. If you'll remember, Tennessee almost got a postseason ban, but the reason they didn't is that they had exemplary cooperation. We collected all the evidence. We handed it over to the NCAA. We blew the whistle on ourselves. Donde Plowman did, who's the chancellor.
Got the evidence. Put the evidence in the car. But Danny, put the evidence in the car.
And that's why we didn't get a postseason ban. We did, however, lose 25 scholarships. You know how many scholarships Michigan lost in this? Even though they not only didn't cooperate, they destroyed evidence at the bottom of a pond and didn't cooperate at all, and I'll show you that in a minute. They get no postseason ban, and they don't lose any scholarships. Anyway, I did want to point that out because that's the only reason. I guarantee you Tennessee would have got a postseason ban if they pulled the stunt that Michigan did.
Why tells you that? They tell you this is supposed to be a postseason ban. So they went against their own bylaws. And I just one point of separation. This was the Committee on Infractions decision. The NCAA is upset with these guys. The NCAA, they demanded a postseason ban from Michigan. Ross Dellinger is the sharpest reporter on this thing. He literally says that was why negotiations broke down and why this went to the committee in the first place. So the committee went rogue. They literally went rogue and deviated from the bylaws. Very strange.
Well, they didn't even follow. It's not even, I mean, for me, and I don't want to mince words, but they didn't, it's not even the letter of the law. They didn't even follow the law. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't a fine point. This is requiring can you read that, Moses, for me, just because I don't have the thing in front of me and my eyes aren't as nimble and as good as your young ones. But that one sentence where it says a postseason ban is required in this case.
Yeah, it was actually required, and they went against their own bylaws, which is crazy. But again, They're toothless now. I mean, nobody's going to listen to the NCAA about anything ever again. They won't. They're done. They just need to run their little basketball tournament. And I can also tell you, when they start this BS with their college football commission and this Deloitte company that's going to keep people from getting NIL money, you might as well forget that crap. First of all, there's nothing you can do, the college football commission or committee or whatever the crap they're coming up with, or Deloitte or any of that. Until you go to collective bargaining, none of this matters because the penalty phases are gone. Yeah, I guess they could fine you or something like that. I don't even think you have to pay the fines, honestly. I don't even know that why would you have to? They can't do anything to you if you don't. What are they going to do? They're going to give you a postseason ban? They don't do that, even if you steal signs and then BS about it and destroy evidence. I mean, there's no penalties. Those penalties are really just a suggestion. Honestly, it's voluntary at this point. And by the way, this is the Infractions Committee, NCAA, their decision. It says, overwhelming evidence shows impermissible scouting scheme in Michigan football program. Harbaugh's program lacked compliance, football staff members failed to cooperate, committed recruiting violations, and of course we know about the sign stealing. Did it from 2021 to 23. Connor called his films of the sign stealing, he called it dirty film. That's a perfect way to call it. Of course, you know about the KGB. That's his group of scouts. He called them the KGB. 56 instances of off-campus in-person scouting. $35,000 of tickets that he bought on a $60,000 salary, not to mention the travel expenses, lodging, and food that would have been required, which would have been way over $60,000. Where did he come up with the money for that? Failure to cooperate. Throughout the investigation, Stalions, Harbaugh, Moore, and former director of player personnel each failed to meet the membership's expectations of cooperation. Their conduct ranged from destroying relevant materials to providing false and misleading information during interviews, including Stalions instructing an intern to clear out emails, photos, text, and videos related to the scouting scheme. The intern complied and then instructed a friend who attended and recorded 3 games as part of the scheme to do the same. And you don't lose any scholarships, no postseason ban. All the games are fine. You get to keep the natty. Oh, and your head coach that erased 52 text messages from Connor Stalions, and he's a repeat offender because he got hit for recruiting violations. He gets an additional 1-game suspension. Oh, and I didn't even realize he gets to do that in 2026, and he gets to pick it.
Are you serious?
Unbelievable. Stalions also admitted that he disposed his phone in a pond. In a recorded phone call, Stalions said the film was also at the bottom of a pond, so the film and the phone. Additionally, throughout the investigation, Stalions violated confidentiality requirements, etc. Talks about Moore deleting 52 text messages, impermissible recruiting, failure to monitor. Talks about how Harbaugh and Moore fall within legislated window to trigger repeat violator status. And those are level 1 aggravated case classification. That's the worst. Level 1 plus aggravated. It's the worst you can do. He gets 1-game suspension added on to the 2. Oh, and I forgot to mention, he got a 2-year show cause, but he gets to coach. Whereas Bruce Pearl got a 3-year show cause and didn't get to coach anywhere, including Tennessee. Lost his salary, everything.
Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday!
Moore gets to keep coaching, gets a 1-game additional suspension that he gets to pick in the future. So what it'll be, the Fort Worth Fighting Dust Mites in their first game, their little warm-up game. Unbelievable. That's one of the worst infractions decisions I've ever seen. I mean, it's just literally, they got him red-handed and let him off with a little slap on the wrist. It's incredible, really. And then Jim Harbaugh's already gone and Connor Stalions gone. So it doesn't even matter. But they're going to appeal that ruling. How can you read that infractions decision and all the evidence they had there and say, I'm going to appeal this? You got off with nothing. Dave Portnoy put it perfectly. That's ashtray money to them. All right. Also, I told you I was going to discuss, had the debate last night with Carolina Jackpot. And he brought up a couple of things. I had said that Connor Stalions had forward scouted Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia, and another team. And I believe it was Ross Dellinger that had a story on that. And he said he didn't remember that, and I didn't bring it with me because I thought that was understood. But anyway, I want to bring up that evidence. Yeah, this was on Yahoo Sports by Ross Dellinger, and I thought I remembered that correctly. Talks about at 11:42 a.m., Stallions purchased a single ticket to the Tennessee-Kentucky game. He purchased tickets involving several more teams. Most of them at that time were college football bidded teams or teams that had a good chance to make it. Those teams are believed to be Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, and Oregon. So not only Tennessee, but also Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, and Oregon. So that was by Ross Dellinger. So there's that. Then also, he didn't necessarily think that that was the first time that South Carolina had worn wristbands on that ESPN broadcast. And we talked about how Holly Rowe had discussed that. And since I can't play that video clip, I can tell you how to watch it yourself, number one. Number two, I'm going to read you exactly what she said, and I can show you at least a picture, and it shows the timestamp, so that way you know exactly how to get to it, so you can look at it yourself. Holly Rowe, she was directly quoted, said, and she was standing on the sideline with South Carolina. She said, South Carolina defense is doing something they haven't done all season using wristbands. And here's the wristbands, okay? And it's at 5 minutes and 36 remaining in the first quarter. So you can go to YouTube, pull up 2022 Tennessee versus South Carolina, go to the 5 minute and 32nd remaining in the first quarter, and you can hear Holly Rowe's words for yourself. Don't take my word for it. And Carolina Jackpot, I know you're watching this. Go to 5 minutes, 30 seconds. You can hear Holly Rowe talk about this. So I did want to answer that as well. Now, I will say Jackpot showed up. He was well prepared and did a good job. I did wind up winning that debate, but it wasn't a landslide. I think it was like 59-41 or something because all the viewers voted on it. But I did pull out the victory, although it was not an easy win.
Poor soul. He was just too high-strung.
Oh, yeah. So, Michigan, congratulations on your victory yesterday, which is all it was. It was a victory. You won. You won. You cheated. You got away with it. You got to keep your national title, and there are no ramifications for you. So, for the rest of college football, do whatever the crap you want. Don't worry about the NCAA. They don't exist anymore. They are truly a figurehead, and that's it. Oh, and I do want to let you know, a lot of y'all been asking about Kangaroo, what happened to his channel. It got deleted, and he's not able to get it reinstated at this time. Now, maybe at some point in the future he will, but right now he's moved to TikTok, and he wanted to let you know that you can find him there. He's already got over 1,200 followers, and here he is on TikTok. I just went ahead and took a picture of it for you, and he's going to be putting up videos there, so you can check him out at TikTok. I don't know why his channel was deleted like that. He believes he was hacked. It's really a shame. It really is. But anyway, I did want to let you know that. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit that button right there. Will not cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here's the most recent video YouTube. Thanks, you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
When dealing with powerful criminal elements, one can never be too well prepared.